years. Wow, and joining us right now for an all-out discussion of the NBA Finals is none other than sports writer Josh Planos, all the way from Nebraska. Josh, good evening to you, sir.
Thanks for having me, Andre.
As always, my friend, let's talk about this now. What a turnaround here for Milwaukee, down 0-2 to start the series, and we've been talking about them being down in their previous series as well, but now they're up 3-2 in the finals after winning Game 5. What a game in Phoenix. They're the first team to win a road game in this series. Phoenix hasn't won in Milwaukee. Now, tell us what you saw in Game 5 and how Milwaukee pulled off that big win in Game 5.
Well, it was an unbelievable game for the Bucks, 3 stars. This is really the first time we've been able to say that all 3 of them put everything together. But Drew Holiday, Chris Middleton, Giannis Antetokounmpo combined to score 88 points. It was the best offensive game of Holiday's postseason and probably of his entire postseason career. I suppose if you're looking for a silver lining for Phoenix, you have to wonder if these 3 could possibly play better than they did, in Game 5, and still they had a chance, down the stretch. But Milwaukee is now an overwhelming favorite in complete control of the series, which is about as far as we could have expected, given how they played through the first 2 games.
The Suns were actually ahead in the early goings of this game. They even led by as many as 16 points, but the Bucks just really came alive, especially that big second quarter for them, and they never looked back. What did the Bucks change and to bounce back and steal this one?
Well, Andre, I think Drew Holiday finally put on his superhero cape that you and I were asking for throughout this series. He was incredible. The ball movement was fantastic. They shredded Phoenix from the perimeter, as they have most of the series, and really on the interior, they still look like giants compared to the Suns, who seem to operate in more of that small ball mentality. But Holiday was clearly the big story coming out of Game 5. You still have to credit Giannis and Middleton for these supernova performances that they're putting up regularly now. But it's just they're shattering Phoenix's defense just across the board, and credit to Mike Budenholzer and the team for coming out and adjusting the way they have. We
saw his number there. He had a double-double, by the way, 27 and 13 assists for Drew Holiday. He turned into Superman, the guy that they needed, especially the guy that they didn't have the past few years. Of course, there's Giannis Antetokounmpo. I still can't believe and don't believe that he has that hyper-extended knee, quote-unquote. The Greek Freak taking a look at his numbers, MVP-like for the 2-time MVP. Top scoring for Milwaukee, 32 points to go along with 9 rebounds. He didn't get a double-double, but still a big win. 6 assists, and get this, no turnovers for the Greek Freak. And all that in close to 41 minutes on the floor. I know the finals ain't over yet, but do you see Giannis taking that finals MVP award, given the way he's dominated for the Bucks in this series if they win the title?
Yeah, I mean, I think if James Naismith, who invented basketball, would have seen Giannis today, he would have tacked that peach basket 30 feet off the ground instead of 10 feet, because Giannis just makes everything look super simple. We saw it. I mean, that alley-oop was absurd, just given the timing and given the rate at which he was maneuvering down the court. He's an absolute lock to win the MVP. If Milwaukee can close out the series, he's just incredible. And if we can just have a quick moment to discuss, how new he is to the game still. I mean, he reportedly started playing basketball in 2008, Andre. So this guy is clearly like creating a new ceiling for himself by the day, which is really not a lot that you can say about other players, because he's still so new to the game that he's still kind of, creating an atmosphere in which he can thrive, and right now he's thriving.
You're right. He's just new to learning the game of basketball. He started playing soccer, especially in his home country, but man, I can't believe this guy really hyperextended his knee, and like when you pointed out that alley-oop, different angle, it was so difficult to catch, but still, I don't know if he's human after all. But of course, even if the Bucks won Game 5, it was still a close call for them, winning only by 4 points here. As we mentioned earlier, Josh, they even had that slow start. They were down in the first, 37-21. What adjustments now should the Bucks make for Game 6, if any, if you saw any, as we take a look at the numbers here in Game 5, Josh?
Yeah, I think they really got tight down the stretch, Andre. It really seemed like those last 5 or 6 minutes when Phoenix went on that huge run and nearly stole the game. it really seemed like they kind of got out of the motion offense that they seem to thrive in with either Middleton, creating some space off the pick and roll, or Giannis in a fishing role.
Yeah.
It really seemed like they just got uncomfortable. And if you can, I know it's easier said than done, but if you can kind of create that free flowing chemistry that you have, get out and create a couple of fast break opportunities, which is how they thrive and how Phoenix really honestly crumbles. That's going to make life so much easier for this team. But yeah, I mean, it's a make or miss league, and unfortunately, it seemed like the shots weren't falling down the stretch. But it also seemed like maybe they were playing into Phoenix's defensive scheme. So if they can get out on the break and play the style that they're most comfortable with, they should be good to go.
Josh, we've seen the Bucks beat the Suns in Phoenix, but we haven't seen the Suns beat the Bucks in Milwaukee, at least in this series. Now let's talk about how important that home crowd will be in this pivotal Game 6, and it's a must-win for Phoenix.
Oh, it'll be huge, Andre. I mean, this is a team that has proven to be incredibly difficult to beat at home. The Deer District will reportedly have 65,000 people in attendance, so it's going to be nice and loud. Everyone is excited about, as you mentioned at the top, the first potential championship since the early 1970s, which is before you and I were born. So that being said, Phoenix was the best team on the road in the regular season, and is in its first elimination game of the postseason. So I'm sure that they're willing to pull out all the stops and attack every opportunity, to bring this finals back to Phoenix. But Milwaukee's going to be rocking, and it should be a great environment for a Game 6.
Expect the balloons and some noise and getting ready to celebrate. Let's see if the Suns have something to say about that. Okay, Josh, stay where you are. We still have a lot to talk about, my friend, including what happened to the Phoenix Suns in the finals. But we need to take a quick break for next Sports Desk, only here on CNN Philippines. We still have today sports writer Josh Planos, and Josh and I have been talking about the NBA Finals since the series actually started. Now the Bucks currently lead the Suns in this series 3-2. Game 6 is tipping off tomorrow in Milwaukee. That's morning Philippine time. Josh, the Suns find themselves down for the first time in this final series. They were already ahead 2-0. Then the Bucks just turned the tables on the series. What happened to Phoenix? We know we've been talking about how exposed they are interiorly, but what else did you see, and what Phoenix is struggling on in this series?
Well, I mean, I think Milwaukee has proven to be the deeper team, and to their credit, they're playing the mathematical side of basketball right now. They're going to win the three-point line. They're going to win the free throw line. They're going to win the possession battle, and they're going to force you to beat them on those terms, which is a tall order. I think Phoenix is also not operating at full strength. They're certainly not healthy, but the swagger is just, it's so evident with this Bucks team. I mean, look at that alley-oop. That the decision to throw that was so bold, and so, it was borderline foolish. It was like, if you were to buy like a Louis Vuitton outfit and then immediately go and eat barbecue spare ribs in it, you're just chancing fate. And yet that is exactly what Milwaukee is, just so confident, and it really, it manifests on the court on both ends of the floor.
I really like that Louis Vuitton analogy with the barbecue. Yeah, it made pretty sense, because why throw an alley-oop with a crucial moment in that game? But yeah, that was really bold for Milwaukee to do that, but still they pulled it off. And I think it's only Giannis who can pull that off. Tough break for Phoenix, losing that Game 5, of course, at home, because their version of their big three actually delivered huge numbers here. Let's take a look. You've got D-Book, Devin Booker, with another 40-point game here. Josh shooting 17 of 33 from the floor. Not bad. Good numbers, including 2 out of 4 from 3, so that's 50% from beyond the arc. Then CP3 also came alive again here with 21 markers, 11 assists, a double-double for Chris Paul. He even took better care of the ball, this time with just a single turnover, all in 35 minutes. And then let's not forget their big man in the middle, DeAndre Ayton, bouncing back from that 6-point outing only in Game 4. He had 20 points, 10 boards, and 2 blocks in Game 5. What am I missing here? What else are the Suns missing here? If you're Coach Monty Williams, I know you can't stress it enough that we need the bench support, but man, those three did what they had to, but still lost that pivotal Game 5. Yeah,
I mean, for this series, Andre, it certainly seems like Phoenix is like a wing defender short in this situation, right? I mean, they put Bridges on Middleton, and then Holiday goes berserk, and then they put Bridges, on Holiday, and then Middleton goes berserk. It's like they're just one player down along the perimeter to be able to kind of create, a competitive. I mean, it is a competitive series, but just to get them over the hump. And of course, Giannis has destroyed small teams all season long, so you have to give him a huge share of credit. He's a matchup nightmare for Phoenix. But it's certainly, a battle of adjustments, and it just seems like Milwaukee is winning that battle at this point. But it's also a favorable matchup in terms of individual matchups for the Bucks. And Phoenix needs to come up with an answer, and they need to come up with it quick.
Well, if there's one key guy who needs to step up for the Suns, or maybe turn that big three of Booker, CP3, and Ayton into a big four, who is it for you? You got Bridges, Cameron Payne maybe off the bench, Jay Crowder. Who do you want to see like up their game for Phoenix to win that that battle of offensive weapons? Because we know Milwaukee, there are a lot of offensive scorers there.
Yeah, I mean, I'd like to take all of the above, but for the sake of this exercise, I'll probably go with Chris Paul. It's really unfortunate that this is his first foray into the finals, and it's going down this way. Credit to Jrue Holiday and the Bucks. They're making life so difficult for him. They're picking him up full court. Remember, this guy is returning from COVID. He's got partially torn ligaments in his hand. He's got some knee issues as well. Milwaukee is just making life so hard for him. It seems like a lifetime ago that he was putting up 40-ish points in a game, and now he's struggling to keep his turnovers down because it's a difficult time now to be a Chris Paul fan, and that's because the Bucks are just tormenting him along the perimeter. So if the Suns are going to get back into this, given how poorly they have played in the minutes that Devin Booker has been on the bench, they really need Chris Paul to kind of stem the tide and keep them competitive in those minutes, and that starts with Chris Paul.
It's heartbreaking. I was talking to a CP3 fan the other day, saying heartbreaking because he really wants that ring for Chris Paul. Now, what are the adjustments that the Suns have to make to force that Game 7 and send the series back to Phoenix?
Yeah, I mean, I think Phoenix needs to give it everything they have to survive. They can't afford to give up the second chance scoring opportunities that they are, or get decimated along the glass the way that they are. They can't afford to take entire minute stretches in which they're not executing offensively, or in which they're unwilling to get back defensively in transition, where Milwaukee, likes to get out and attack the basket. They need a role player like Mikal Bridges or Cam Johnson or Jay Crowder, like you mentioned, Andre, to step up and provide some scoring support. Certainly they need, Chris Paul and Devin Booker and DeAndre Ayton to be at their best to even give them a chance. But they'll really need to do all of these things, and at the same time mitigate that scoring explosion that we're seeing from Giannis and Jrue and Middleton, to bring the series back to Phoenix.
Well, Josh, before we continue our conversation, and I'm sure the fans also still want to hear what we're talking about, but first, they want to know too. And I want to know the answer to our quiz question of the day. Again, the question I asked was, here it is, who is the only player in this year's NBA Finals who will end up a champion and get a ring, regardless of which team wins the series? I think I know the answer. Do you know, Josh? I think you know it too.
Torrey Craig, right?
For sure. The correct answer is Torrey Craig. He did start and play 18 games for the Milwaukee Bucks when the season started, that is, before being traded to the Phoenix Suns, and this makes him eligible to get his very first ring, no matter what the result of the finals is. What a lucky guy. But I think, that hasn't been unheard of, because that happened a couple of times as well. Some players start with a different team, and then they end up, right, with a team that wins the series. Anyway, Josh, with everything that's been said, I'm going to put you back on a hot seat, my friend. First you said Suns in 4, and then Suns in 5, and then you brought out the Giannis jersey. Which team wins Game 6? Because last time we spoke with that Giannis Antetokounmpo jersey, you said the Bucks will take the series in 7, not in 6. Who do you have now, my friend? Josh?
Well, I didn't bring a jersey this time, Andre, but I do think that Phoenix will get it done and force a 7th game. So hear me out. It's a touch counterintuitive, but it is difficult to close out a series at home. We talked about how this would be the first championship for Milwaukee in 50 plus years. You start hearing about parades and championship after parties, and can your family members come with you to the championship after party? All of those things actually play a factor in getting you ready for a game, or putting the nerves on. So I do think that Phoenix is in a situation where they're going to be able to get it done, and hopefully, as an NBA fan, we can get all excited about a series deciding, championship deciding 7th game.
But if I'm Coach Bud, Giannis, Chris Middleton, Drew Holiday, just wrap it up. Don't go back to Phoenix. Just finish things, and don't give that momentum to Chris Paul, Devin Booker, and the Suns. Okay, Josh, as always, a pleasure having you. Thank you so much. Much appreciated, buddy. We'll speak to you again soon for sure. Thanks, Josh. Stay safe.
Thanks, Andre.
Again, we just spoke to sports writer live from Nebraska, Josh Planos.